All right, thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Kenyan. Conversations are continuing, and now we are talking matters to do with road safety. And in studio, I'm joined by Dr. Andrew Kiplagat, who is the Director of Road Safety at NTSA. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you doing this morning?
We are well.
Yes.
We thank God.
Yes.
Yes.
So who is responsible for the safety of our roads, on our roads?
Thank you very much for that question.
Yes.
It's a very important question.
Yeah.
Who is responsible for road safety in our roads? A very simple answer is that I am responsible for my own safety out there in the roads. And the reason I say that is, in case of anything, the person who will be affected will be me as a road user. And road users could start with a pedestrian. It could be a rider on a bike. It could be that pillion passenger being carried. It could be a driver. So we say that responsibility, road safety is a shared responsibility, but it starts with me. Yeah.
So in all this, let's first of all try to understand the mandate of NTSA. Yes.
Now, I know NTSA is well known in the country.
Yeah.
When it comes to road safety, the first government entity one thinks of is NTSA, because NTSA is the lead agency in matters road safety. And its mandate is drawn from NTSA Act of 2012,
yes,
which actually established it,
yes, and
gave it the mandate to plan, to regulate, to administer policies regarding to road safety in Kenya. And that's actually the basis of existence of NTSA. But then if you hear the word, it's the lead agency. Lead agency meaning that there are many other players in the sector. So NTSA's role is mainly to coordinate and ensure that all these activities lead to safety in our roads.
What's the synergy between those players you are talking about? What's the synergy between NTSA and them, and how has it helped in enhancing road safety within the country?
I would say this is something that we are pursuing continuously. Mike, you know, until we save the last life, we must continue working. Yeah, we must continue building these synergies. So we are continuously pursuing synergy between the different actors, be it government, yeah, be it non-state actors, be it even development partners, because recently His Excellency the President launched the National Road Safety Action Plan. And in that National Road Safety Action Plan, one of the 8 priority areas, in fact the first one among the 8 priority areas, is delivery of partnerships.
Yes.
And what this seeks to realize is to bring people together, all these actors, because when you look at road safety, it has quite, for us to realize, in fact I say road safety is a function of about 5 factors.
Yes.
It's a function of safer roads. Yeah, it's a function of safer vehicles. It's a function of safer road users. It's a function of post-crash services, yeah, and it's a function of the management system. And when it comes to synergy, now we will need to seek synergy among the road, the road agencies, for example, because they are responsible for several roads. We will need to also bring on board the users, yeah, which cuts across. We'll need to bring on board, matters of vehicles, and even post-crash, which is more health, people, first responders, and all that. So to answer then your question is that this is a continuous pursuit that we keep on engaging on all these stakeholders, so that then we ensure or we promote safety in our roads.
Yes. There's aspect I think many people overlook and about road usage, and it's mostly from pedestrians. What is the role of a pedestrian in enhancing their own safety on the road and the entire road safety of other users?
Thank you for that. And I mean, if you look at the statistics, pedestrians are actually the people who are at risk. Our statistics indicate that we are losing, in terms of, in terms of the numbers, we lose more of pedestrians than any other road user. What is the responsibility of a pedestrian? The first responsibility is ensure that you are safe, or you, whenever you're using the road, use it in a manner that promotes your safety. And what does this mean? Where do you walk? Okay, are you at risk given the path that you've taken in the road? Secondly, how do you interact with other road users? Because ideally, we would say that it's important to segregate road users, yeah, so that then we promote their safety. And to segregate here means that ideally we should have pedestrians having their own path, so that then we can assure their safety. But that's ideal. Where we are in our country, in many instances, you'll realize that we are sharing the road ourselves. So it will be important for these pedestrians then to think about their safety, like I said, ensure that where they are passing is possibly safer in terms of they are not at risk of being knocked by maybe vehicles or what do you call motorbikes. Yes. The other thing is that, are you visible, for example, by other road users? Like, can a vehicle see you? Yeah, because sometimes you heighten or you increase the risk if you are not visible enough. The question is, where do you cross, for example? Yeah. You need to cross in designated areas, maybe pedestrian crossing designated areas. In our roads, again, there are bridges for safe passage of pedestrians. A pedestrian, because of their own safety, should use such facilities so that then they can cross to the other side safely. So those are just among the many things that a pedestrian would need to, ensure that they do to keep themselves safe. Yes.
As a road safety leader, how would you say, or what is the current status of our roads right now?
Based on the recent happenings in our roads, the road crashes that we've seen, and based again on the national targets. And the national target is that we need to bring down fatalities and injuries associated with road traffic accidents by at least 50%. We are not doing good. We are not doing good, because until we realize those targets, then we are not doing good.
Yes, because I was asking that because I was reading, and if you compare the first quarter of 2024, that is between January and April, there were over 1,189 deaths, as opposed to last year, 2023, the same period, when there were around 1,129 deaths, traffic deaths, which is an 60 more deaths, an increase. So what's leading to this?
Maybe to give the recent statistics, maybe from the beginning of the year up to now, is that I think we've lost our people about 1,222 up to 5th of this month, September, as compared to about 1,076 in the same period last year. And that is an increase of about 146. And this is pedestrians, because like I said, that we are losing more of pedestrians as compared to other road users. Now, among the many things, among the many causes or risk factors, the biggest cause is behavior. When we started, we said that road safety begins with me. yeah, it's my responsibility. Because if anything should happen, the life or the injury that will happen will actually happen to me as an individual. So, behavior is the biggest risk factor. And in some facts that we are having, some statistics out, if you allow me to cite, for example, to just emphasize on this factor is that human behavior factors on their own are actually responsible for about 57%. It contributes about 57%. When you look at the interaction between, because we say roads, you remember the safe system, that it's a function of roads, it's a function of users, and it's a function of vehicles. So for roads, the interaction between the human factors and roads, for example, adds another 26%. So that then that becomes about 3%, the interaction between the human factor and the roads. And if you bring the aspect of vehicles, it adds in another 6%. So that in total, the contribution of the human behavior is about 93%. So this tells us that the biggest contributor without, of course, downplaying the role of these other factors, is human factors. And when it comes to human factors now, across, it's not pedestrians only, but across the crashes generally, then you'll realize then that these are big thing, and this is manifested in how do we make our judgment, while on the road. Where do I cross, for example? The judgment not to use a footbridge, for example, and just decide to cross. Those becomes the human factors, or the judgment, the decision that you make, that ends up being risky to our lives. When it comes to maybe vehicles, the decision to speed, for example, because we know speed is also a big contributor to the fatalities and injuries we have in the road. The decision to maybe overtake dangerously. We know from the many crashes that have happened in our country that sometimes it's about reckless overtaking, in disregard to the rules and regulations that govern driving. Issues like maybe drunk driving, for example. You see, that's a decision that we make. Someone drinks and decides to take on the wheel. So that's just a few examples of some of the human factors that ends up now impacting on safety, not just of the users, the persons involved themselves, but also others, because a person who dangerously affects will affect other users. A person who possibly decides to cross in a designated process will also become a risk to other users, which then overall contributes to the challenges that we have.
Speaking of human behavior, recently we witnessed a case where there was dangerous driving of a matatu ferrying school-going kids to school, and some of them were hanging out of the matatu, and it's not the first case. How is NTSA addressing such issues now?
Yeah, it's actually something of great concern, and we are happy that Kenyans are able to see this, and they forward to us quite a lot of information on this. And we employ multiple strategies to be able to pursue safety in our country. And for that example that you give, for example, is when we received that information, we went in and checked whose vehicle is this, who was the person driving, and within the authority, we are able to get this information and summon these people. And it's not just that, there are many others, because sometimes we drive on the roads, we see things, and we are able to take action, maybe taking, for example, photographs of the same and ask these people to come so that we can engage them, sensitize, and of course take corrective measures such as sanctions that are applicable. So for this case that happened, I think you're aware that it went to court, yeah, because we were able to get them, and then the police took it up and they were taken to court to be able to, I mean, of course, for justice to prevail, isn't it? Because whatever they were doing was endangering not just them, but other road users. And it happens. We have so many of these coming to us, and we take firm, decisive actions on them, so that then we try to discourage this kind of activity or this kind of behavior, which is risky and endangering not just their own lives, but other road users.
Yes. It also brings about a very important aspect where what is the role of parents in ensuring that there is road safety, especially for their students who are going back to school?
Thank you very much. And I think you are bringing something very important. As we said, it's a shared responsibility that all of us have a role, parents included. And it's interesting because the what do you call information, or rather education on road safety might not have permeated so much in our systems. Yeah, and what parents can do is that we need to inculcate this safety behavior, road safety behavior, and one way of doing this is, of course, interacting with our kids about the importance of behaving well when we go to the roads. And by the way, where it starts, you know, our children also observe us greatly. We can't tell them what to do when they're seeing the opposite. So the very first thing that we need to do as parents is to actually demonstrate that good behavior when we are in the roads with our kids, whether we are pedestrians, whether we are riding whichever mode, motorbikes or vehicles. So that then, how do we behave when we are in the vehicle, for example, isn't it? We need to be, safely fastened using the safety belts, for example. We need to be seated calmly in the vehicle as we are being transported with. Because what we saw is children hanging on the vehicle and that. So we need to show them that when you are in a vehicle, sit well, fasten your seat belt, the safety belt, and so that as the vehicle goes in. Secondly, again, is that we need to observe traffic rules like speeds, for example. How do we, how do these vehicles drive on the roads? The question of, you see, they were swerving in some of the vehicles, what we saw in the images, to ensure that when the vehicle should be able to stick to their lane, ride in safe speeds. When you're in the vehicle, ensure that you are safely fastened to your seat. Other issues is, of course, when you observe things that bad behavior in the road, you should be able to raise an alarm and be able to so that you can get help to avoid or to forestall any potential crashes that may happen due to behavior such as what we saw.
Also, the boda, they ferry students to school. Are there measures that you have taken to ensure that they deliver these students safely to school without flouting traffic rules? Because sometimes you find a motorbike carrying 3 billion passengers.
That's true.
So how are you addressing that?
That's true. It's also a matter of great concern because it's evident, all of us see as we interact with this. But we, the government has put in place measures. The first one is, of course, to enact the right law. There is a law that governs the operations of boda. And in this law, it states who should ride, for example, isn't it? When riding, what do you need, isn't it? Yeah, because then they need to be licensed. Licensed meaning that they need to have the right class of license to allow them to ride the boda. And it's a class we call what? Class A. There is class A1 and A2, depending on the roles they play. Secondly, is that when you're riding, you need to put on safety gear, and that is an helmet, yeah, and a jacket, a reflective jacket that should be able to make you visible. Secondly, is that, and this applies to the rider together with the pillion passenger. The other thing this law says is that you should only carry one passenger, one pillion passenger. Okay. Now, besides existence of this law, of course, the other question is that they need to be in circles if they are doing commercial and all that. Now, besides the existence of law, the government through NTSA does quite a lot of sensitization and public education. And if you look at the statistics, by the way, you'll realize that the border or the cases associated with border borders is coming down. Not significantly, because like we said, is that we will breathe when we've saved the last life. But then, of course, we need to acknowledge that there is progress out of that as compared to injuries and fatalities in among other road users. So, so this sensitization is happening across our regions, whereby we engage with these people together with partners, because we said that we build synergy, state and non-state actors, so that then we are able to sensitize the people in this industry, the border borders, about the law, because we know when they know about the law, then they're able to do that. But besides that, I think what we are doing also, we are trying again to really push this is enforcement. Because the first thing is let the people be aware. The second now is enforcement. Because what we see, like for example, a rider carrying about 3, what we need to do is to enforce.
Actually, you've said that because I wanted to ask who is failing in terms of enforcement, because you walk in Nairobi right now and you will find, yes, there are borders. They are carrying passengers. Even the rider himself does not have a helmet. The pillion passenger does not have a helmet. So who is failing where in terms of enforcing?
I may not say it's failing, but look at what we are dealing with. Look at what we are dealing with, because it's huge. If you look at the number of riders or motorbikes, in that case, possibly it's more than 2 million out there. Okay, you look at and they're increasing every day. They're increasing every day. You look at maybe motor vehicles in that case, they're increasing every day. So that then. What we do, like we are talking about the multiple strategies, like the first one is sensitization and public education, so that these guys are aware. But where we are at the moment, and I'm happy because you're asking even how we are engaging to build synergy.
Yes.
On Thursday and Friday last week, we were engaging with counties through COG, discussing about, how do we deal with these issues? And one of the things that came out strongly is the need to enforce, to collaborate in terms of enforcing. At what level? At the counties, because you realize that motorbikes are local in the sense that they operate within shorter distances. They are the last mile to take, last mile in terms of the modes, because after you've used this, you pick a motorbike to take you maybe to your home and that kind of thing. So these engagements, like what we had last week with the teams from the counties,
These teams are the county transport committees.
Absolutely.
Safety committees.
Yes, in fact, the discussion was about operationalization of the county transport and safety committees, so that then we are able to pick these and enforce properly using the structures that are existing within the counties. So possibly one of the reasons is that it's not yet operationalized. They've been gazetted, I think a good number, about 38. About 9 remaining, should be coming out in the, should be gazetted very soon. And with operationalization of that structure, the county transport and safety committees, then we are able now to streamline enforcement, especially on users such as motorbikes. And that way, then we can be able to realize even more impact building, emerging out of this synergy between the national and the county government.
So how do you see that cooperation enhancing road safety in the long run?
It definitely will enhance. It definitely will enhance, because first, it will be more hands. Yeah, more hands. We will be having 47 CTSCs, meaning that we have a structure within each county to assist. The government. Of course, this is national and county government. All of them are governments as provided for in the fourth schedule, and this sharing of responsibilities will definitely have a significant impact because we'll be having a team watching over each of the 47 counties of this country, and that synergy will definitely produce more impact, not just among the borders, but pedestrians, for example, because pedestrians are also local in our urban area. So it means then when this is operationalized, then we're having an active team across the 47 counties, at least the towns in the 47 countries, and that definitely will have a big impact.
You've spoken about sensitization programs, and I want to know, how often do you carry out these sensitization programs?
It's something that is continuous. It's continuous, and I said it's across the regions because we have, the authority has 17 regions and centers. Of course, not counting our presence in Huduma centers. Yes. And this is a continuous process because when we get the facts about the distribution, or rather the status of road safety as per the different road users, that defines where we put our energy. Like, for example, recently, I think in Nairobi, quite a number of pedestrians, came, were on the wrong side of the law, and you must have heard, in the many roads here in Nairobi. And why did we do that? Is because of the statistics that we see that shows us that we are losing more of pedestrians. So, so what I wanted to say is that this is a continuous process, in Nairobi and across the regions, guided, of course, by the facts that we have in this and the work plans that we are having. And this is in response to the realities of the moment. So, like, I know there is an activity, for example, in Bumula, in Western, on borders, that is happening on Friday. I know in Nairobi, this, I think from Wednesday, there'll be something on the PSVs. And this cuts across. Okay, let's cross over to Karen, because I'm told the Deputy President is over there. Let's go and find out what I wanted to ask you about. It's about inspection of public transport vehicles. Sometimes you find that you're on the road, but a matatu passes you and you're unashindwa what is happening, because the status of that matatu is not roadworthy. So what are the things that you look for when you're inspecting a matatu? Thank you very much, Mike, for that. And maybe to put it, to have the bigger picture again, is that safety in our roads, like we said, it's about the vehicle, and the vehicle needs to be roadworthy, so that then, we ensure that the vessels plying our roads are safe. To that end, therefore, the authority, the government through NTSA does motor vehicle inspections. And the law requires that all vehicles are inspected, and this one, like for PSVs, for example, where you're talking about the matatus, the HCVs, and they get their licenses based on this upon successful inspection, or rather when they pass the inspection. And this inspection, the requirement is that these vehicles must come to our centers that are spread within the country. I think 17 centers, whereby our inspectors are able to interact, because inspectors are engineers who are actually licensed to be able to check the roadworthiness, and they check many things, which touches on the safety, maybe the mechanicals, brakes, and all that. They check maybe the fittings, whether they have safety belts. They check issues about the speed limiters to ensure that they are not just limiting, processing, but they are able to transmit to our servers to allow us to monitor. And upon successful inspection, then they are given the go-ahead now to get subsequent licenses, like maybe road service licenses, tourist service licenses, which then is an indicator that they've been able to go to do that. Unfortunately, I think sometimes we find that, like you're saying, you meet a vehicle out in the road and you just wonder what is happening. And that's why we go back to the first thing. As an owner of a vehicle, have you taken your responsibility to take your vehicle to NTSA for motor vehicle inspection in compliance with the law? Because when we do enforcement, for example, in the roads, is in recognition that sometimes we may get people who are not responsible enough to follow the law and get their vehicles inspected, and that's why we find them out there. And we find, quite a lot of that when we do enforcements. And therefore, what I'm trying to say is that it all, again, boils to the question of responsibility as individuals in the sector. Are we playing our role? To know that this vehicle requires inspection as per the law. Do the same, take the vehicle for inspection, so that then when it's operating in our roads, then there is that assurance that it's inspected and it's roadworthy. And it's not, by the way, it's not just because inspection follows quite maybe some procedure, some checks on the requirements, but sometimes we even need to do more just to ensure that the vehicle is roadworthy enough, and that still has some personal responsibility aspect in it, so that even we escalate as the other players do their bit. You as an owner, me as an owner, has taken my role, has played my role to ensure that the vehicle that is, plying our roads is safe for use. Yes.
Where are we with phasing out the previous driving licenses and embracing the smart driving licenses?
It's ongoing, and a very good number of Kenyans have actually embraced that, and we get quite a lot of applications to go into the smart deal, very encouraging. And we call upon Kenyans. To step forward and be able to upgrade to the new generation driving license. The same also for reflective plates. It's progressing on very well, but we are not yet there because we still have our people out there who are yet to get the reflective plates, and we appeal, we call upon them, take time, apply, get processed, so that then we can shift to this new generation smart driving licenses and reflective plates.
So what about the aspect of, what does 20-point mean? Because there is a new license, it will be somewhat configured.
Demerit system, the demerit system whereby, well, I think this is in enforcement again, because you realize that we need good behavior, like we said, good road, a safe behavior. And to do this, we said we need enforcement, because the desire is to reach everybody and enforce this so that everybody behaves well. And the idea of demerit system is that, and I think this is attached to instant fines, something that is coming up, is whereby when you violate the traffic regulations, then you lose points. You lose points. And if it goes up to some certain point, then it means that you're not a good driver, and you are supposed, that license actually needs to be withdrawn, because you've lost points, and these points is out of, the loss is out of the bad behavior, the violations, which we are trying to tame. So this is just one of the ways of inculcating good behavior among drivers, for that matter, so that then we have, or we create drivers who are safe and who definitely will contribute to the nation's agenda of keeping our roads safer.
Yes. I want you to close with this. Your message to everyone who is using the roads today. be it parents, school-going kids, PSV. What is your message?
Thank you very much. I think my main message, and I hope we extend this also, is that road safety is a shared responsibility, but it begins with me as a road user. Road safety is a shared responsibility, but it begins with me. The decisions that I make while using the road will have a direct implication of my own safety and the safety of others. And therefore, let's do, in fact, safety matters are very basic. Yeah? If I'm a pedestrian, for example, let me ensure that I cross the road in the right places. Okay. Secondly, I make sure that I'm visible to other road users. Thirdly is to use facilities that have been made available. When it comes to a driver, for example, let me make sure that as it starts, the responsibility starts with me, that I operate with safer speeds. I mean, avoid overtaking and all these bad behaviors that endangers my own life, the lives of the people I'm carrying, and other road users. So road safety is a shared responsibility, but it starts with me.
Thank you so much. That is Dr. Andrew Kiplagat talking to us about matters road safety. This is where we cap this conversation and the entire Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for watching. My name is Mike Migu. Let's do this again tomorrow morning. I leave you with the weather update. Good morning.